Dolphins are evil. This seems to be the message going all over social media, and while it may have started off as a joke, there's quite a lot of actually harmful misinformation out there that I'd like to debunk. And anytime I post anything dolphin related on my social medias, I find it really funny that I get all these comments from people being like, oh, I like all animals other than dolphins. I hate dolphins because they're evil. I hate them because they harm this animal species. And humans and dolphins are the only animals capable of being evil. That one is my personal favourite, as I find that one quite ridiculous. So we're going to debunk the claims about them being evil in this video, but I do want to put a content warning because we are going to be discussing some not so nice stuff such as animal infanticide, harming other animal species, and coercion during mating. If that's not for you, that is fine. So let's get into it. And the first thing that I want to start with is what actually is a dolphin, because a lot of the people who claim they hate dolphins, I don't think they could actually define a dolphin if you ask them to, because a dolphin is actually an informal name for several groups of cetaceans. You have the oceanic dolphins, which include very famous examples such as the bottlenose dolphin, the orca, the dorsal finless right whale dolphin, and the very small teeny weeny Hector's dolphin, who is one of the smallest species of cetaceans out there. And then in contrast, you have the river dolphins, the pink Amazon river dolphins, and they don't even belong to the same family as the oceanic dolphins who belong to the Delphinidae. These guys belong to the Inidae. So dolphins are a very diverse group of animals. There's over 40 species, if I'm remembering correctly, and generalizing them all is kind of crazy work. And dolphins aren't just diverse across the different species of the numerous different dolphin types there are, but they're diverse in their own species. So take orcas, for example, also known as killer whales. These are often heavily demonized for killing seals, but there's ecotypes of orcas that don't even specialize in hunting seals. They specialize in herring and mackerel. So the idea of, oh, I hate orcas because they harm seals and they torture seals, which we will debunk later, is kind of unfair when there's a lot of orca ecotypes that don't even hunt them. So now that we've mentioned how diverse dolphins can be, let's get into some of the undesirable and upsetting behaviour that people don't like them for. So the first thing I want to mention is infanticide, and that is the act of an adult dolphin sending a baby dolphin to the pearly gates. Obviously, very understandably upsetting for people to see in nature documentaries, but the claims that like all dolphins kill babies is kind of laughable because it's only really been recorded in bottlenose dolphins and one incident recorded in orcas. And again, it isn't common for bottlenose dolphins, it isn't their standard Monday activity, it's more of a occasional occurrence. And the orca infanticide was actually quite an interesting case because, as far as I could see, this event in 2016 is the only known documented event of infanticide in orcas. And for lack of a better word, a newborn orca was slimed by a 32-year-old adult male who was unrelated, but the 32-year-old adult male was assisted by his mother. And orcas are very fascinating creatures. I was actually privileged enough to see them in the wild in Norway, and you may know that the older females typically teach hunting and other strategies to the young orcas. They are often seen as the wise elders. That may be one of the reasons why orcas are one of the few creatures who, like humans, go through menopause, because the female's knowledge is seen as too valuable to potentially lose them to childbirth, and they should spend more time teaching and passing on their knowledge and specialised hunting skills than rearing babies. But while infanticide is obviously not a very nice thing, it is crazy to demonise dolphins for it, especially when it's not even been documented across all species and it doesn't seem all that common, because it's been recorded across a lot of animal species, including big cats, rodents, birds, primates such as chimpanzees. I mean, I think one of the most famous examples are male lions. So you may know that if a male lion takes over a territory, he will often kill the cubs so he can then mate with their mothers and pass his own genes on. Like, it's a very brutal thing, infanticide, but nature can be brutal and it is just kind of a part of life for some species. But again, I really want to stress this isn't that common for dolphins, even bottlenose dolphins where it has been recorded in their species. As I said, it's not their standard Monday activity, it's more of a rare occurrence. And the next reason why people often claim dolphins are evil is because they torture animals or play with their food, and I would like to debunk the torturing claim. I really don't like the word torture because that implies a kind of human level of consciousness and a sadistic, malicious enjoyment in harming another creature. And if you own a cat, you may see a cat playing with a mouse before eating it, sometimes even after killing it. And it's not really like they're doing it to torture them because they want to harm a creature. It's more enrichment and stimulation. And of course, dolphins are highly intelligent social creatures and they do love to play with things, but there's more than just playing with their food. There's actually a very practical reason for some of this more brutal seeming behaviour. A very famous example of playing with their food is orcas tail slapping seals into the air, and that may look unnecessarily cruel, and I love seals, I get that that looks upsetting, but there's a very practical reason for this, because when they tail slap them into the air and then they, splash back into the water quite brutally, it often kills or disables the seal, and this allows the orca to finish off the seal or feed on them without having to risk the seal's very sharp teeth. So to minimize harm to themselves and to their pod, it's actually a practical way to kill their prey without getting hurt. And on a similar note, you will often see dolphins hacking apart fish or octopus or throwing them about. And this may look very brutal, but again, there's a very practical reason for this, because although dolphins have teeth, they cannot chew. So they're breaking down their food into more easy to swallow pieces. And it's not just dolphins that do this. Seals do it too. And linking directly on from dolphins playing with their food is the claim that dolphins pass around pufferfish to get high. And this myth, there's no actual proof of this, this myth originated over 10 years ago in a documentary when bottlenose dolphins were seen gently passing around a pufferfish and then later floating at the surface of the water. Only issue is pufferfish have a poison, not a psychedelic. So if anything, the dolphins may have got a bit of a numb mouth, but there was no way they were getting hallucinations or euphoric off a pufferfish. It's actually more likely, because they're very playful and social creatures, it looked like a ball. It was something they could pass around and have fun with. And dolphins are incredibly curious, and they've actually been recorded playing catch with all kinds of objects such as seaweed and even turtles and crabs. And honestly, even if they somehow were getting high off the pufferfish and were passing it around, I still don't think that's proof that they're evil. And the final reason why people often refer to dolphins as being evil is for the coercive and aggressive behaviour that they often display during mating. And again, this is understandably upsetting, but it's another example of pushing human morals onto non-human animals, and also a double standard, because I don't see anybody calling ducks evil for this behaviour, or seals for this behaviour, or adorable little baby otters who are often so aggressive they actually kill the females and continue mating. I found it really bizarre a few weeks ago actually when I posted a video on how grey seals have been recorded attacking dolphins and even killing them, and I got all these comments being like, good, the dolphins deserve it, they commit sex crimes. I need you to understand that a dolphin cannot commit a crime. They don't pay taxes down there, they don't have a human society. It kind of minimises our crimes to push them on animal behaviour. That's completely different. Also, seals do that too, so I'm not quite sure the point they were trying to make, but... And similarly to the infanticide discussion, this hasn't even been recorded across all dolphin species. It's primarily been recorded in bottlenose dolphins, and there's actually a really cool fact about that, which is that a study has found that female bottlenose dolphins actually remember the unique whistles of aggressive male dolphins so they can stay away from them, because behaviour such as biting during mating or ramming them, charging them, hitting them is undesirable and it's costly to the females, so they will avoid the more aggressive males. And although it's important to treat all animals with caution and respect, especially highly intelligent apex predators and especially when they're kept in captivity, dolphins are not generally aggressive towards people, although aggression towards divers is not totally unheard of. There has actually been several instances of altruistic friendly behaviour from dolphins being displayed towards people. And there's not just positive stories of dolphins playing with people, there's even recorded stories of dolphins saving people's lives, and this goes back hundreds of years. But there's been more recent incidents, such as people being saved from drowning by dolphins, and dolphins forming protective barriers when there's sharks to save people. There was even a very famous story where a guy had got bitten by a great white shark, and a pod of dolphins actually formed a barrier to protect him. And orcas have never, ever had a fatal recorded attack on a person in the wild. There has been some in captivity, but highly intelligent apex predators being kept in captivity isn't always the greatest idea. But in the wild, there's actually been records of orcas bringing people gifts of food, possibly to form a relationship with them. So I just want to conclude this by saying no animal other than humans has the capability to be evil, and pushing our morals on them is insane. And I really don't like the double standards that dolphins get, because yeah, they have behaviour that's upsetting and disturbing, of course they do. So does pretty much every animal species. Even adorable baby bunnies often get eaten by their mothers. Nature can be brutal sometimes, but nature can also be pretty wonderful and beautiful. And if you'd like me to do a video going into positive behaviors from dolphins and all the positive interactions they've had with people, please let me know. My name is Kat, I'm a zoology student, and subscribe for more content. Have a great day, everybody. Bye!